Halo Outreach Podcast to keep you updated with everything going on in Halo.
What is going on, everybody, and welcome to episode number 10. We're in the double digits now of the Halo Outreach Podcast. I am one of your hosts, the Patman Gaming, here with my good buddy, KevinKoolx. What is going on, Kevin?
Hey, doing well. Just, ready to talk about some Halo news. Goodness, we actually had some good stuff happen last week when it comes to Halo news, and certainly excited about that.
Yeah, we got plenty of topics to cover with you guys, including a MCC development update, MCC playlist updates, of course, some Infinite news, some canon fodder lore roundup from Outpost Discovery. That's some really interesting stuff that could relate to Infinite. We'll touch on that. Some Dreamhack Atlanta announcements, which is pretty cool. And of course, we will be updating you guys on the Halo 5 playlist, that what is featured for all you 152 grinders out there. But first, let's get into this little game that y'all might have heard of, that me and Kevin have been playing, making some ripples throughout the gaming community here, and that is Call of Duty Modern Warfare. The beta is live. So
shaking the foundation of Call of Duty with these Halo kids coming in.
Right. So what are your opinions, man? What do you think so far? The Modern Warfare beta, how you liking it?
I am actually really enjoying it. I feel like this is the first Call of Duty that I've played where it actually feels like what my idea of what Call of Duty is. Of course, my first Call of Duty I played was COD 4, and then Modern Warfare 2. I never really played much of the World War II stuff, and I definitely didn't play any of the futuristic bouncy room stuff. So this is the first time I played Call of Duty. I'm like, dude, this actually feels like Call of Duty. This is pretty nice. There are some little tidbits of like things I have gripes with, but I'm not quite sure if that's really necessarily the game itself or just the game being new and just the player base and how they're reacting to the game rather than the game itself. Since if we've literally only been playing it for like 2 days, and so I could go in more detail. But what are your kind of overarching thoughts on the beta there, Patty boy?
I like it. I like it more than Black Ops 4. I could say that definitively.
100%.
Yes. I like the multiplayer much more than Black Ops 4's multiplayer. However, I don't like the maps right now. That is the one thing I just can't. There are a lot of angles. There are a lot of different choke points like on a map that you feel like you are not safe wherever you run. And the spawns, as always with Call of Duty, are kind of effed up. But the one thing that feels absolutely awesome, and this is the redeeming quality about the game for me, is the gunplay. The guns feel like if you've ever shot a gun in real life, and I'm not some sort of gun nut, but there's something so gratifying about getting a kill in this Call of Duty compared to other ones.
Very much, yeah.
Like every gun packs a punch. Every gun has an oomph to it, and I really, really like that about it. They nailed it as far as the gunplay. So, I'm enjoying it. I'm still enjoying it. I don't know. Have you seen the leaks that have like somebody data mined? How they do once it comes out on PC, they data mine all these files.
Yeah.
Supposedly they've seen a battle royale mode, so that might be coming. Supposedly, this doesn't make any sense. There's no way this is happening, but they found names of 60 maps in the files. There is no chance in hell that game is launching with 60 maps. Some of them are
launching with 60 maps, but I'm sure they probably might have like the files already in the game or something like that, and they're going to release over time.
Even that would be
but
insane.
even they have 60 maps, so that's too many.
Yeah, a lot of them are Infinite Warfare maps, so there's like maybe some legacy code in there from the last game. But still, even after you take out the Infinite Warfare maps, it's like 40 something new maps. That would still be unprecedented for Call of Duty. So we'll have to wait and see. But yeah, it looks good, man. It feels good. The graphics are insane. Big graphical jump from Black Ops 4. The new engine really does shine. But yeah,
it's the first time we've actually truly got like a new engine update in Call of Duty.
Yeah, Halo and Call of Duty been rocking the same
since like Modern Warfare 2 or something like that. I think they updated the engine quite a bit between COD 4 and Modern Warfare 2, or kind of consider it maybe a new engine. but this is like the first like actual leap.
They revised the same engine, much like the Blam engine was revised. Yeah, but it was never a full-fledged new engine. This is fully, this is cool. So
I will say that like I kind of agree with you with the maps that like you could feel like you can kind of get attacked from any angle really, but I think that's more of just the style of game that they're trying to push with it. It's much slower, much more tactical. You're not like jump wall running, booty sliding all over the ground the whole time while you're playing this game. You're moving from cover to cover, thinking about your movements ahead of time before doing them. The maps definitely feel much more lively. They don't feel so cookie cutter like multiplayer maps like every COD since Black Ops 2 has felt, at least my opinion.
Not the single 3-lane map,
Yeah, well, they kind of still have this 3-lane idea. They kind of kept up with that. I still noticed that, but like the different types of cover that are in the game are not like square boxes that are perfectly like waist or neck high, And it just feels the maps just feel more like an environment rather than a multiplayer map.
Yeah, they feel more like a
game has felt before.
They feel more like Battlefield maps, honestly. Like how
really
you're in a war. Like it feels like a war-torn map. I could totally see that. Modern Warfare was my first Call of Duty as well. I never played World at War either. So I did Modern Warfare 2, Black Ops 1. So and I've been playing them all ever since, except for Infinite Warfare. I skipped that one completely. So I told myself I was skipping this year's Call of Duty. After playing the beta, I might have to rethink that, honestly.
I'm definitely buying it, but that's because I have IRL friends who are like, squad up, bro. Fine, I'll play just so I can play games with my friends.
If Battle Royale is announced, I probably will go ahead and get it, honestly, because I really enjoyed Blackout. And this game, after playing that big mode, the Ground War, I don't like that mode very much, honestly, but I can see the potential for a Battle Royale from that mode. So I do enjoy that, and we'll see. But this is a Halo podcast. Enough of Call of Duty. Let's get right into the news.
Let's get right. No.
So, development update, MCC. Let's dive a little bit deeper into this, and not really much going on besides no really very slight Flight 3 news. Nothing crazy though. So, do you want to go ahead and talk about this for a little bit?
Yeah, so Postums, as he does, put out a dev update, just kind of giving us a status update on what Flight 3
Oh, I know what the lady's
my God,
like.
we just got a new follow, and I keep forgetting to turn on these damn notifications. Oh my God, but thank you very much for that follow, I really appreciate it. Okay, anyway, so let's get into this. So right now, the game, Flight 3 is still in Ring 0, but they were able to identify, they knocked it down from 10 blocking bugs down to 2, over the past week, and so rather efficient stuff right there. They currently have one Ring 3 blocker, which would be insider blocking, and then one Ring 1 blocker, so that's why it's still in Ring 0 overall. The 2 blocks being the title soft locks after completing a match, and also a block reach multiplayer installation issues. So if you can't play the game, it definitely becomes an issue.
Yeah, I would say that's a blocker.
Yeah, for sure. And so, just kind of keep you guys up to date with what's going on with that. Since we do know that this is going to be an Xbox flight, Postums does mention in here saying that you want to delete old Xbox Insider builds and install the new one. So if you have that kind of residual one hanging around there, just clear it out, do it all over again. I do have a video on my channel that tells you how to install the Halo Insider within 40 seconds. And so if you guys want to check that out, you definitely can. I'll keep that in mind right there. And then it also goes in, a dev update goes in little differences between Xbox flighting and PC flighting. And basically it's just delivery system, mumbo jumbo kind of stuff. Nothing really worth really digging too much into on that one for the need to know information. But that's coming along. You can see it's working on it. I was kind of hoping that they were going to do it by the end of this month, but since we're still in Ring 0, that it makes me think that probably the beginning of October would probably when we would see this flight, which would mean probably pushing the release till November then,
which would really suck.
But of course that would be right now it's not a good time for me because obviously we have the COD beta and the Call of Duty come out on October 25th. So I'm definitely going to be playing that. You had Borderlands 3 just came out. Yeah, Shadowkeep coming out for Destiny 2 on October 1st. So the month of October, and right now, is just like a terrible time for a release. So if there's anything in November that's kind of like easier going, because normally it's like September, October is when you see the big game releases. November, if it's like really pushing it. And so maybe once Reach does actually come out to PC, then actually will be kind of cooling down from the new hype of new games and stuff like that.
Remember Jedi Fallen Order 2 coming out?
Oh, that's coming out this year?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Didn't they just show alpha gameplay at E3?
No, it probably was alpha, but yeah, it's coming out this year.
Oh, well, damn.
So that's, yeah. But he did say in that thing, too, he said once those blockers have been fixed, that things on that front will be moving forward quickly. So hopefully, it does start to snowball, which usually does after after those blockers, it's kind of just testing, like them just testing going through the ring. So, we're probably about 10 days out, I would say, at least, probably a week and a half before we see it, but maybe sooner. We'll never know. We never know. So
I thought Pat
just
EXE stopped working. He just blue screened in his brain right there.
So besides that, we can go on to the playlist update news. So you already covered the deleting the old builds off of your Xbox, if you guys didn't know that, so that's good. And then as far as playlist updates, we talked about this last week where they were taking H2A out and rotating some new stuff in. You are still an MCC player. I haven't played MCC, so I'll let you go ahead and go into that as well, because Halo 5 grind is real.
But yeah, and so if you guys do not know, Halo 2 Anniversary ranked playlists were removed on the 18th. Sadly, that was probably like my second favorite thing to play on MCC besides Halo 3. We all know Pat's opinion on Halo 3, which is in the minority, but whatever. So we have a little bit of an update when it comes to what's going on with that. So go over here, you can see that the competitive playlists have rotated out. The social 4v4 modes for Halo 2 Anniversary added Erupt, Muskrat, Oracle, and Stigma. You can see the different game modes here that they've added in as well. Yeah, just good to know. More maps added in. More 4v4 maps is definitely what H2A really needs. That's probably also another thing that really kind of killed the population on that. Is that you only have like 4 maps to play on when it comes to like ranked 4v4s.
Can you
get a little stale?
I'm sorry. Can you educate me, please, on what Skyward means and Awash means?
Oh, those are the different names for the Forge canvases.
Okay.
Yeah.
So that's I never touched MCC Forge, or H2A Forge.
Yeah, I didn't really bother with it either. And I heard it was like all right, but not that great, but still pretty good.
Okay.
They also added in, since we do know that the 12th anniversary of Halo 3 is happening, they actually rotated in Halo 3 ranked team doubles. So you guys want to play that, you can. Your previous ranks still exist, which is a good thing, obviously. And so you can just grind away on that. And that's really about it for the multiplayer updates for MCC. Nothing too crazy there.
Cool.
Man.
All right, so moving on then. Let's talk with your boy right here. Quick plug, KevinKoolx made a video on this, so go check that out on his YouTube channel. Infinite having some new news.
Yeah, Infinite news.
Yes.
Pog.
So, Kevin did a video on this, like I said. I highly suggest you guys go checking that out. Give the man a like and a subscribe if you're not already. Subscribe to him. And so we're getting some new Forge features in Halo Infinite, right, Kevin? And it consists. It doesn't sound like a big deal, but it is a big deal. An undo and a redo button should really help with I mean, obviously, not having, like you mentioned in your video, not having to restart from a previous save file if you screw up, and that a redo is I mean the same thing. If you do any kind of editing or any kind of computer work, you know how helpful undo and redo is. It is a
Think of
lifesaver.
how many times you hit Control Z in a day?
Oh my God, so
Quite
many.
a bit.
Wish I could do it in real life. So
Just Control
yeah,
Z back to 18.
exactly right. Uh,
Yeah.
but yeah, so that, I mean, that's very brief, I know, but that is the news for Halo Infinite. This was confirmed on the community playdate stream that 343 just did on Wednesday. Kevin, are you updating your slides as we go?
Yes, I'm updating my slides.
Okay,
I think I'm an unprofessional streamer here. I know what
I'm
I'm
just
doing.
just making sure.
So what? I might have notification sounds still on for some reason, and I don't know how to
Right.
switch that off, but whatever.
Right, Mr. Professional. God. So that is the basic Halo Infinite news. Nothing huge, but still, any kind of freaking information on Halo Infinite is always a big deal at this point because we know nothing about the game. We know absolutely nothing about this game. So we just want to update you guys on that. And let's get into what I would like to think is going to be the big part of the podcast here, because I have a lot to say about it and I really want to pick Kevin's brain on this. So the Cannon Fodder update from your boy Jeff Easterling, who we had on the show on our very first episode of Halo Outreach Podcast with John Friend. He is one of the franchise director. What is that his title? Franchise director, or is that Frank's?
Probably.
Yeah, he's basically like a Frank O'Connor. Those two are synonymous with where the series is going lore wise. They oversee everything from, like, if you have a Halo toothbrush that needs lore printed on the back, Jeff Easterling and freaking Frank O'Connor have had a say in that lore on the back of the toothbrush. So, I mean, it's true. They do just about everything as far as that kind of stuff. So, Jeff basically made a new Cannon Fodder article detailing some of the things that I covered in a previous video. When I went to Outpost Discovery for the second time in Philly, I went to the ring experience, which I didn't get to do in Orlando. And I asked the lady there, and I was like, what does this have to do with? Do you know if this is Zeta Halo? I was trying to pick her brain and see what ring we were getting toured of. And she said, yeah, this is classified information. That's why you can't record in here. We don't want any photography, any videos, because it has to do with the next Halo game. And obviously the next Halo game is Halo Infinite. So
it is?
What? No, actually, Spartan Assault 3, or 2, I should say, Spartan Strike. So
yes.
I went in there, and I basically recapped everything I saw from memory in a video, and talked about all these different animals and stuff that saw all this wildlife, and Chief is on this ring, and we go inside the superstructure of the ring, see all these Forerunner Sentinels working on the ring and all that, and now we actually have renders that 343 has released of each of these specimens, so you guys can actually see exactly what I was talking about in my previous video, and I made a new video on this today. So quick plug to myself there. Go check me out, Patman Gaming on YouTube. Go look at that video. I worked hard on it.
Link in the description down below.
Yes. And there's just some really cool stuff on here. So here, like, I'm watching Kevin's thing here. We got a Sky Leviathan, which, have you ever played Zelda, Kevin?
No, but it looks like a big flying crocodile squid.
That's a very accurate description. With a pelican's throat. But there's just these really cool things. There's dinosaurs, which is really cool in a Halo game to see. Like, in that ring experience, you're riding a warthog and these dinosaurs are just running by you and stuff. And somebody made a really good point on one of my videos, on the original video I made. They're like, because I've talked a lot about why I think the Flood will return in Halo Infinite. Can you imagine if the Flood infect like dinosaurs and what we would see? Like the amount of possibilities for the Flood returning and wildlife being on the ring, and how it's going to affect that wildlife and how we're going to have to combat maybe a bunch of different enemies would be really, 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 really freaking cool.
Yeah, it does seem to be a big emphasis on the wildlife that we've seen, at least in the very first trailer that we saw, and then they seem to keep kind of popping up here when it comes to talking about Halo just in general.
Yeah, you're seeing a lot of
at least for
parallels.
Infinite.
Yeah, a lot
And
of parallels.
maybe you have to do Far Cry 5 style or Far Cry 3 style and just hunt down animals for like their pelts, and then just bring it back to Cortana for her to make like gold platinum pelts out of them or something like that.
Well, I actually made a Far Cry reference in my video too about, or like an Assassin's Creed reference, because that honeybee drone is an actual drone. It's like a scouting vehicle. So what if that is like like in Far Cry, when you go to an outpost and you're about to attack it, you whip out your camcorder, your camera, you tag all your enemies, things like that. Or in Assassin's Creed, you use your eagle to go ahead and scout ahead and pick how you want to attack an area. Well, what if that's our version of that in Infinite? If it is an open world game and we are getting a lot of open world vibes from it, especially with wildlife and stuff like that, that's like a Red Dead Redemption 2 in a live, breathing world. That could be a real possibility that, you fly around this honeybee and, scout areas around. I thought that would be a kind of cool talking point. What do you think about that?
What kind of sense of scale did you get of the honeybee? Is it like something like Chief can just like pull out of his back pocket or kind of thing?
Very
or is it
small.
kind of like because like looking at pictures, it looks like something like someone could sit in.
Yeah, no, it's very small. It's like it's a drone. It looks like
Okay.
it's about the size of a drone.
Okay.
And it can actually go into outer space. Like they go ahead and detail that in the Cannon Fodder article. Like it can go into outer space. It can actually have offensive capabilities as well. It can be outfitted for that. But yeah, it's an unmanned VTOL drone. So
Confirmed Jack in Halo Infinite.
basically, that's your co-op partner. So
yeah, that's pretty cool though. I mean, definitely, like I said, or like you were mentioning before about getting like open world vibes. I was definitely getting that same feeling as well. And I even heard rumors that was kind of like the original idea of Halo 5 was to be open world, and then you play through the memories of Chief when you find these little memory checkpoints as playing through as Locke kind of thing. And that kind of had to get all scrapped apparently, but that's all all rumors and stuff like that. But a Halo open world would be rather interesting. And we got a little bit of that in Halo ODST.
Yep.
Which happy birthday, 10 years.
Yep.
Which we will get into later talking about ODST. So I would like to see, definitely like to see that kind of open up a bit more when it comes to that kind of stuff. Like even that, I said that initial trailer that we saw, that like they just showed this big expansive area that looked like that where the Warthog could drive around. And obviously, as a player, you expect to drive that Warthog, and showing that much space with all these different little like towers spread around the whole thing. You're like, well, I guess we have to go to each tower then, huh?
Yeah, like a Far Cry vibe or a Breath of the Wild vibe.
Climb it. Yeah, Master Chief, you have to climb the top of the forerunner tires and then jump into a
eagle dive.
a
Eagle dive
science
off
bush. And that's how you
Cortana, give me a holographic freaking haystack now.
Yeah. All right, well, we pretty much already figured out Halo Infinite, guys. So that's gonna be our playthrough, just jumping in the hay barrels.
But what do you think? Now, a lot of people seem to be split on this in my comment section of my videos. I personally want full-blown open world. Like, I don't want light open world like Gears did. Gears was nice, but it was a very barren.
Yeah, there was nothing in the war in the open sections. It was just like really big space to travel between the two.
5 years. 5 years for this game from this huge team at 343. I want something a little bit more than a light open world. Now, I wouldn't mind. I want it to be full blown open world, but at the same time, I wouldn't mind like a Destiny style where the Destiny is a very light open world game, but it flows very nice. There's a lot of different missions to stop and do. It all feels natural, and I don't mind that, because there's social spaces with a bunch of vendors and stuff like that. So there's stuff to do. I wouldn't mind it if it was like that, but I don't want something like Gears, because a lot of people make comparisons to Gears. What are your opinions? Would you rather see a full-blown open world or something very light with a linear story still?
I think what you're mentioning about the Destiny style of things, I think that's probably the best way to go about doing it. Just like, get a mission, you have to go to that spot in the open world, but then like there might be animal life to get in your way that you have to kill, PETA might get a little bit upset about that, about killing space animals, but whatever.
True. Those animals don't exist yet, but they're being discriminated.
But like stuff like that, and then maybe like timed events might happen or something, because they said this is going to be a game as a service, which definitely comes off of much more like live events kind of thing happening.
There'll be challenges, a bunch of stuff,
I would also think that I have a feeling that this time around that with the armor, it's going to mean something. Since they said it's going to have like reach level customization, but like why have that amount of customization?
Right.
And I think maybe they might try to put a little purpose behind it. Maybe like put the shoulder pad on, it's smaller, but makes you like ADS faster or something like that.
That's a good point, because we touched on that in a previous episode too. Very clear, and I still might make a video on this because we're so freaking dry for Halo news, but there's a difference in Chief's armor from the original Infinite trailer, the announcement trailer, to the Discover Hope. There's a lot of differences. You could pick them apart. He
definitely ate a few cheeseburgers between the two
he
as well.
Beefed up.
Like he
went to Arby's and beefed on.
He began with Arby and the beef.
Yeah, Arby and the beef.
Well, what was Jeff saying his costume was?
Master Beef, I think.
Master Beef, yes, yeah. Master Beef. Just in Arby's outfit, looking like Master Chief.
Yeah,
that thing was awesome. Amazing.
Yeah, that was awesome. And I highly recommend, while we're on the topic of Cannon Fodder lore, highly recommend going. It's like a 55, 59-minute panel between Jeff Easterling and Frank O'Connor, just talking about Halo lore. Awesome stuff. So go ahead and check that out. That's linked in the in that Waypoint article that Kevin was showing off on the stream. But yeah,
linked in the show notes.
Yes,
in the description on YouTube or on Spotify. Check it out then. Yeah.
Oh, okay. We'll get to that Octagon. I was reading Octagon's. We'll do questions at the end, so we'll touch base back on that and why I disagree with that point, but I respectfully disagree. Let's get on to the next subject then. You think you said everything you want to say on that, Kevin?
Yeah, that's everything.
Okay, cool. All right, so take the lead on this. Dreamhack Atlanta being announced.
Yes, yeah, it was long. Suspected believe it was a long time believed that rumors going around that DreamHack Atlanta was going to happen again for competitive Halo, this time for Halo 3, like unlike last year, which was, I think it was Halo 5, right? It was the same event where they announced grassroots and things like that. And this time they actually got finally confirmed that we are going to be seeing DreamHack Atlanta competitive Halo 3 awesomeness. $50,000 prize pool, 76 teams, one championship to rule them all. Pretty much the same thing as last year during Atlanta, and it's going to be happening between November 15th to the 17th. Get your tickets now, and it should probably be. This is definitely going to be like the last event of the year for Halo, competitive Halo. Maybe the last one for Halo 3, because they might switch over to Reach, possibly. People are kind of talking about that. I think they're kind of waiting until the Reach releases, see how the pro players feel about it, and maybe do it on the side, or maybe make it the main game. Yeah, I remember talking to Tashi about that, and he seemed like they were like kind of open to the idea of having Reach heavily involved with HCS, which I'd be totally all for that. I think it'd be a really cool thing to bring back Reach 10 years later, basically, or 9 years later. And yeah, so we got DreamHack Atlanta to look forward to, November 15th to the 17th. I'm excited for it. I love competitive Halo. What was it? Last event was a bit of a surprise where we had Lux walked away beating gold members, which is basically like pseudo reciprocity with like Snipe Down and Pistola.
Yeah.
And even Tox finished third place. And someone said that was the first time Lethal, who's on Tox, who's like the captain of the team or something like that, it's the first time not finishing top 2 since like 2016 or something like that, or 2017 in competitive Halo, which is kind of ridiculous to think about. That like he's been finishing either first place or second place in every single event since like 2017.
Yeah, that's crazy.
I think since or maybe even 16. It was ever since when Halo 5 was at the X Games, the Winter X Games. Ever since then, he's been finishing like top 1 or top 2 every time. So, a bit interesting event. We'll see if Lux can hold on to that momentum and continue. In 2016, I see in the chat. Thanks there, Goofy. I appreciate that. I thought it was something like that. It was long. That's a long time, finishing top 2 every event. But people give Lethal kind of some crap for not being like the flashiest of players. But dude, the guy knows how to play Halo. He surrounds himself around the right players. He does well, and it's not a fluke finishing top 2 for 3 years straight. Let's just say that much.
Yeah.
And I guess that's everything about that. Look forward to DreamHack. I guess we're ready to move on to the next update here, Pat.
Halo 5 playlist update. Let's do it. So, what? What'd you say?
I said boom.
Oh.
Or should I say boom? Ooh. That was weak. Fuck. That was so weak. That sounds like the 16-year-old who doesn't know how to make his voice go low. To try to sound low. It's like boom.
Boom? Question mark?
Boom.
So Halo 5 playlist update. We currently have ODST Slayer going on right now, which me and Kevin are going to touch on. But rotating in for Anniversary Throwback and becoming the new featured playlist on September 26th will be H3 Classic Throwback. So Anniversary Throwback out, H3 Classic in, and then for social, ODST will be phased out of the featured playlist and just be there as a normal playlist. Then on September 26th as well, Warzone Turbo. That sounded weird. Warzone Turbo goes live for the weekend. Did not like the way that flowed off the tongue. So that goes live for the weekend, and I don't think there's anything right now for Warzone featured, is there?
Besides Legendary Firefight on the weekends, that's probably about it.
Yeah. So that will be going in, and let's just touch base on the 10-year anniversary of Halo 3 ODST and our opinions on ODST Slayer. So I guess we could kind of take the reach approach like we did last week. Kevin, you got any memories with ODST and any stories you want to share?
I actually never really got super into ODST. That's like the one Halo game I really haven't played a whole lot.
Fraud?
Okay. I mean, I know I played through it once. I feel like I've started ODST probably like 5 times and just never finished it. But I know I have played through it though. I definitely have at least twice. Okay. When it first came out, and when it came out on MCC, I know I played it through then. Other than that though, it's like probably honestly like probably my least favorite campaign to play.
Oh wow! I
know people love ODST.
Yeah, we're on opposite sides of the spectrum.
And I do like the idea and the aspect of the storytelling that they went with ODST. And it feels much more grounded, much more human story, rather than like feel like a super. You don't feel like a super soldier. You feel like a soldier, which is an interesting take on, storytelling through the games in Halo. And I don't know. I never really connected with any of the characters. The gameplay was like good, I guess I just like it lacked like the epicness that I'm used to having in a Halo game, where you're like holy hell, how the hell did we beat this thing?
Right.
I do know there's like that one standoff like on the bridge, which is kind of like one of the crazy sections right there. But
yeah, definitely.
Most of that, it seems like more kind of a lot of skirmishes that you're fighting in the game, so it never really kind of dragged me in a whole lot like these big epic set pieces I'm used to seeing in Halo.
Okay.
It's still a great game though.
Yeah,
I really like the what they did with it. It's an interesting take. But for campaigns, I mean, like I probably would put it maybe like over Halo 4. That's about it.
Wow, really? Not even over 5?
Oh yeah, I'll probably play that. I'll probably play ODST over 5, but
okay.
But what were your thoughts on the Pat?
All right, ODST. So ODST is like my 3rd favorite campaign. It's up there for me. One of my favorite soundtracks. I really just like the vibe of the city, the light open worldness, because it was just so different from other Halos. And ODSTs are more I mean, from the silence pistol to silence SMG, you're more like tactical. And I get what you're saying, like, but you know, about the epic set pieces, it's different for a Halo game, but I still loved how different it was. Um, I definitely got to go through with you and Raps because Raps never played it and do a co-op playthrough again because I absolutely love that campaign and I think you guys would.
That probably means Jimbo hasn't really played it either then.
I
because
doubt
he's a fake fan.
Fraud. Yeah. So yeah, ODST is definitely up there for me. Soundtrack is one of my favorites. Honestly, I love the jazzy tunes in that game. Some really cool Easter eggs in there as well. I get what you're saying about the characters. I like Buck a lot. I mean, Nathan Fillion's a freaking animal. He's just contagious of whatever he's attached to. And I actually like the rookie, how he's fleshed out in other media. And you know, obviously he doesn't say anything in ODST, so that doesn't really do him much justice. But as far as memories, I do have a couple memories. Just I didn't get ODST at launch. My best friend did, who I still talk to this day. He lives in New York still, but he got the collector's edition. He still has it sealed to this day with the controller. He never used that controller. And
I still have the basic one for ODST. At least I still have that one.
Yeah. And I remember me and him, we always wanted Recon so bad. That was the craze. Like we wanted Recon and we named ourselves the Recon Bros. That was like our clan and everything. So we grinded those VidMaster achievements out immediately when ODST came out. And some of them were freaking brutal. Like firefight ones were brutal. But I remember how one of the most gratifying experiences, just getting that Recon armor, popping that on with my katana on my back in Halo 3, even though that game sucks. And and just poning some noobs, man. It was such a I love the feeling ODST gave at launch. We had a good experience with that. So yeah, ODST is up there for me. What about ODST Slayer? I am not that big of a fan of it, honestly. It's okay. Some matches are good, but it's like Breakout with respawns, basically.
That's what it sounded like, because you have reduced health.
Yeah,
but it's not like SWAT. I've heard it referred to as like buff SWAT.
Yeah, basically. No thrust. No, what's it called? No clamber. Spartan charge. Yeah. No clamber. You could clamber. Yeah.
Yeah. I think it's just like no ground pound, no sparring charge, but you can sprint, you can slide, clamber, and things like that.
Yep.
And but yeah, there's no shields. Yeah, like it's like breakout level health, so pretty low. But you know, something you can at least take a shot and live. It's not like SWAT where it's like you make one slight mistake and you're dead. The cool thing about the playlist, though, I actually haven't had a chance to play the playlist. Fake fan here, but that's because literally the day ODST Slayer came out was the day that the Modern Warfare beta came out. So I'm like, well, this beta is only for this weekend, where ODST Slayer is gonna be here for at least 2 weeks. So I'll get a chance to play it eventually, which I will make a video on for sure.
Yeah,
I do. Looking at these screenshots, which Unishack did a killer job on these screenshots. These are probably like some of the best screenshots I've ever seen him take for these updates. But they look so cool, like very like a bunch of all the maps are very like ODST themed.
Yeah. Does he have one of Plaza? Because Plaza is really cool looking.
Yeah, right. It's not so green looking.
Yeah.
And they added rain, like a rain effect.
Yeah, they
to
added
it.
rain and palm trees and stuff. It was really cool.
Mm-hmm.
They should add like the music in the background, just like a light.
Just some rainy jazz.
Yeah, rainy jazz.
And then they also have Eden, which is like an ODST version, which I'm guessing just changed the weapon types on there.
Yeah.
Coliseum ODST version on that one, which looks like probably just added the ODST weapons. I haven't played this Riptide one. Is this like outside the map? Have you played that one, Pat?
Yeah, I played it. No, you're not. It's the same.
It's just Riptide.
Same
and then
old
you also have
sucky
Regret as well. And Overgrowth, which is everyone's favorite map of all time. So I know you have Rig, so some questionable map choices, but some of them pretty good. I'm just really glad they have the Forge maps added in there.
Yeah,
kind of help mix it up a little bit, which is like pretty awesome, I'd say. I definitely will get a chance to play it. I definitely will play them once this Modern Warfare beta goes away, and so I'm not such a fake fan anymore.
Yeah, I even like changed my armor to be like ODST style and everything. We all got in like the spirit of
Oh, you
ODST.
have to. Oh,
Yeah,
you have to.
but yeah, I don't know. I just maybe it's because I took a break from Halo 5 and I'm just trash again after playing it for so long and like doing good on it. Now I'm back to just being a scrub
Dude,
and my
Halo
aim is
5 is
off.
like the worst Halo when it comes to like taking a week off. And
Yeah,
you're like, I feel like I have to, yeah, especially if you take like a week or two off, you're like, I feel like I've lost all progress that took me a month to get, you
exactly.
know?
You have to sweat it out like every day to stay good at that game, man. It's crazy.
Such a fast, twitchy game,
It
you
really
know?
is.
Which just makes it, what I love about it. It makes it want to grind the game out to get better at it.
Right.
But yeah, it's not like Halo 3 where you're like, oh, I'll take a couple years off and be just as good, you know?
Yeah, I pick up Halo 2 right now and I'm just like, all right, still got my 4-shot BR. Cool. Sweet.
Yeah, you know? But that's one of the things I love about Halo 5, and then the things I'm like, man, that makes Halo 5 coming back to Halo 5 so rough.
Yeah, it is rough.
But yeah. So all we had to talk about for Halo 5 playlist update awesomeness right there.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. That's about it. Let's get into the Q&A.
Yeah, so just end of the show, guys. So if you guys have any questions, type it in the chat. We will read them out and answer them potentially if they're appropriate.
Oh, we're answering all questions.
This is the AMA section.
Yes.
I guess while we're waiting for those questions to fill in, I'll let you guys know that we are currently also on Spotify and on Podbean for the podcast, for the audible versions. So if you're watching this on YouTube, you're like, man, this is eating up my phone battery. All I want to do is listen in on this, but I have to keep the screen open on YouTube. What you can do, check us out on Spotify or on Podbean, link in the description down below, where you can actually get a chance to listen just to the audio. You can listen while you're driving, you can listen while you're eating, you can listen with a hat, you can listen with a bat.
Oh, let me or with a pat.
Or with a pat. Talking about that.
Yeah,
Pat, where are people going to be able to find you on the internet?
Oh, well, you could find me at the Patman Gaming on Twitter, on Twitch, the Patman Gaming, on Mixer, the Patman Gaming, and on YouTube, just Patman Gaming on there without the. So, Zero, to answer your question real quick, the reason why I am not streaming is because Kevin took me to court and he sued me over rights of the Halo Outreach podcast and basically said I could not stream it anymore. So it's exclusively, no, just kidding. For some reason, Slobs is not working.
Problems.
Slobs is not letting me stream right now. I keep clicking go live and it just stays there at go live. It doesn't start the stream. So little technical difficulties. But Kevin, where can people find you, buddy? Where can they see your content?
Well, if you guys want to know, you're watching the video. That's my Twitter down below, KevinKoolx Halo. You can check the links in the description of the video or in the show notes for Podbean as well. But yeah, I got KevinKoolx Halo for Twitter, KevinKoolx on YouTube, KevinKoolx on Instagram. I do have a Discord as well. I think the link should be in there. I feel like I'm missing something. I have a Facebook page, KevinKoolx, but
Instagram.
It's if you want to follow a dead page. But yeah, you can check that all stuff out. So yeah, we got a few questions. We got a couple questions coming in here. So we got Goofy Live TV says, do y'all think of Halo Infinite if Halo Infinite is open world campaign, will they add DLC how Destiny did? So basically kind of talking about like how Destiny does DLC kind of more like isolated stories that don't really like change the world too much, but they're stories within the world, if that makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
What are your thoughts on that one, Pat?
I say yes, because it looks like Halo Infinite's going to be a games as a service kind of game. That's what they've been hiring for, as far as Microsoft putting out job posts. It looks like they're hiring to make this game a games of service, and that means updating over time. I don't know if there'll be like expansions like Destiny where you'll actually get like different areas to go to and stuff, but if anything has been showing us, like from MCC, they've done limited time events like Yap Yap's Rebellion or whatever that was called, Yip Yap's Rebellion, and the Flood event. So I would say definitely expect to see events in Halo Infinite and DLC. I don't know if I'm on board. I mean, I would like it, but I don't know if they're committed to doing story DLC for Halo yet. I would love that personally. but definitely expect content to be drip fed over time to you throughout Infinite's life cycle.
Yeah, I definitely would agree with that. You'd probably see more timed events like Yap Yap's Rebellion and things like that. I would think to have some kind of like story expansions, because I would think that this Halo is probably going to be the platform for Halo for at least the next 5 years, would be my guess. As they're making it a game for a service, those games, because there really is no need to make a new Halo game every 2 years, because we've had Halo out since 2001. The gameplay experience has been refined, and personally, in my opinion, peaked back in Halo 3, and so there's really no need to release a new game. So, but people are going to want new stories, more content, stuff like that. So I can possibly see stuff like what Spartan Ops kind of came out, but actually like fun to play. That's what I would expect to see happen in Halo when it comes to campaign editions. I would think so. I think this next Halo is going to be like a 5-year plan for this game.
Yeah, absolutely.
And then only reason why you'd want to release a new one is just because like graphical fidelity improved over time. That'd be my expectations of it. Maybe even do like a Destiny style where like every year have a big expansion where it adds more content to the game or story elements and things like that. Depend if they do like a season pass thing or like or you buy into the seasonal upgrade things that they've been kind of talking about. Actually, I think they're playing around with MCC,
right?
Seeing how they refine that down and bring that into Infinite as well. But yeah, I feel like I'm getting a little off topic on that one. But yeah, campaign DLC. I think it's happening.
Yeah.
All right. Any questions on your end there, Pat? Actually, you're not streaming. It's
I'm
just
not
me, right?
streaming. This is exclusive to you, Kevin.
Yeah. So, opinions on the future of Halo, if multiplayer and competitive, if campaign is open world, what do you think? What about multiplayer?
So classic or armor ability Halo or Spartan ability Halo, is that what he wants to know?
I think just kind of multiplayer in general. And how do you think like the competitive scene is going to be with Infinite?
Oh, the competitive scene I'm not worried about at all.
Because he says if campaign is open world, what about multiplayer? Saying like, is multiplayer going to be open world? I guess it kind of maybe talking about like how like the multiplayer at first for like the Division was kind of open world, right? Mm-hmm. You go into the dark zone and it's like PvP stuff.
No, I don't see.
I wouldn't see that happening. I don't know how that would really fit within the story aspect of Halo. Because obviously you jump in, you're expecting to play as Master Chief, right?
Right.
You're playing Infinite. You might have an open world multiplayer mode where you play as like your own Spartan or something, but you wouldn't be fighting other Spartans in the world. You'd be doing it in like the simulation trainings that they do in war games.
I could see like a battle royale map being made out of the campaign map or something. Like if there's sections of the campaign that work really well as multiplayer. Mm-hmm. I mean, we've seen that before in Halo, like Halo Reach and stuff. So, but yeah, I don't see that work. I would expect your normal arena style dedicated maps kind of multiplayer.
Yeah. I think that's the main thing with Infinite. You need to get down that 4v4 Slayer experience, and then you can build off of that.
Yeah. There will be a big game mode.
That's the core of Halo.
For sure, yeah.
Mm-hmm. Would it be 50v50 like the new Call of Duty? That'd be crazy. But yeah, I think we'll still see your classic Halo. I think that right now, like they're not gonna try to do too much craziness when it comes to like game modes and stuff like that when it comes to Halo, because I think 343 has kind of struggled just to get the core aspect of what we want out of Halo. Mm-hmm. So I wouldn't expect them to expand too much off of that. Like you're going to see BTB, you're going to see your 4v4 Slayer, SWAT, your standard modes you would expect to see, Forge, and probably maybe an additional big player mode with 100 players in it or something. Like I said, 5 years is a long time to develop a game. And there's a lot you can do with that. But there's also a lot they could also not do and do something completely different that we don't know. It's all speculation. But yeah.
Zero says, I can't imagine Halo being open world. Curious to see how that would work if it happens. Well, if you're curious, Zero, quick shout out to my channel there. I've made 5 videos on why I think Halo Infinite will be open world and evidence to that I think proves it, but I could totally be wrong. But I think there's some good theories in there. Check those out.
Yeah, I think an open world like kind of campaign. I think it would totally work.
Yeah, I totally could see Halo doing it. I mean, we've had this rumor, like you said, before Halo 5 came out, it was rumored to have that. So, and then Halo 5 did have big, expansive levels with weapons that you could find that were upgrades to your normal weapon. Like, they've definitely dabbled in it. I just see it as a natural progression for the series. I mean, Halo 1 started as basic, like when you got on that Halo ring, that level was an open world game at that point. Just imagine exploring a Halo ring, get in a Warthog and go. Just go explore. And
mission over there, go do it.
And
a side mission.
They've said like very key words in explaining Halo Infinite, like exploration, rewarding exploration, things like that, or what else? Like a simple story. And when I hear simple story, I think of open world games where the world is more of a character than a convoluted, crazy linear story or anything like that, which Halo could use. Halo 1 was a very simple story.
Very simple story.
Yeah.
But so good.
Yeah, exactly.
I think if done right, it would be fine. But I've played games open world. You heard the game. Yeah, I can see what you're talking about there, Zero.
Yeah. I have faith. I have faith in 343. If they went the Metro Exodus route and did like a light open world like that, where it was sectioned off but still had a linear story, I think that would totally work. Like Metro's a really good example of a semi-open world game, but still having a story, and it was done pretty good, except for its technical issues, which
I need to play that because I have Game Pass Ultimate. I should play that because I've heard amazing things about the Metro series.
Have you played any of them or no?
No, I haven't touched
it. Very, very clunky controls. That if you can get past those, it is a great series. Very underrated in my opinion. But it feels very outdated. Like the controls are terrible, man. Like you have to really mess with your sensitivity settings. But if you like games like BioShock, where it's like a creepy environment, Metro's like right up your alley. Like the environment is very, very unsettling, but it's not like a horror game or anything like that, but it's really good.
All right. Well, I think that kind of about does it when it comes to Halo goodness right there. But and just the podcast in general. So I guess we're about ready to close it out there. Yeah. Well, guys, I appreciate everyone coming by the stream.
Yeah,
if you're watching out live on Twitch, thank you very much for coming by. Twitch.tv/KevinKoolx, Twitch.tv/the Patman Gaming. Hey.
Yeah, I'll try to get my stream working. I'm gonna do some gaming tonight. So
I might try to hop on and play a little more of that COD beta with you there.
Yeah, that'd be fun.
And so good on that. And I guess we call it a night, guys. Thank you much for listening in. I really do appreciate it. If you're watching on YouTube, appreciate it. Don't forget to tap that like button with the subscribe. Really do appreciate it. For listening on Podbean, make sure to give us a like or share it around and stuff. And same thing on the old Spotify as well that we're on. And I guess we'll all catch you in the next episode. Thanks for listening, everybody.
Thank you, everybody. We love you.
Peace.